The Songs of the Sage constitute a collection of non-biblical hymns found among the Dead Sea Scrolls that were used for warding off a variety of evil spirits. The text survives in two manuscripts labeled 4Q510 and 4Q511, which have been dated sometime near the end of the 1st century BCE. 4Q511 is in a state of extreme fragmentation, made up of a total of 224 fragments. Despite this, large sections of these anti-demonic songs have been preserved, as well as the specific techniques used by the singer to protect themselves and their community from evil. These songs seem to have been produced by the sectarian community living at the settlement of Qumran in the Judean desert. The title of this composition attributes the songs to the maskil, a Hebrew term often translated as sage or instructor. The maskil is a figure found in a number of other scrolls and who was in some form of leadership within the Dead Sea Scrolls community. In the sectarian text The Community Rule, or 1QS for example, the maskil is described as having the responsibility of teaching the community the nature of humankind. The instructor should instruct and teach all the sons of light about the nature of all the sons of man, concerning all the ranks of their spirits in accordance with their signs, concerning their deeds and their generations, and concerning the visitation of their punishments and the times of their reward. The hymns are said to be for the upright, thus the songs were either sung for the upright by the maskil, or the songs were sung by the community for their own protection. Since another text known as the Damascus document says that community members could also suffer from spirit possession that needed to be remedied, it is possible that this song was sung over the possessed. One technique used by the maskil to protect himself from evil spirits was the use of praise. The maskil praises God throughout the scroll in an attempt to startle the evil spirits so that they will not afflict him. And I, a sage, declare the splendor of his radiance in order to frighten and terrify all the spirits of the ravaging angels and the bastard spirits, demons, Lilith, owls and jackals, and those who strike unexpectedly. Unlike conventional functions of praise, which are used to honor God, this form of praise acted as a sort of word of power that is used to enact protection. The maskil's praise serves to reverse the typical characteristics of evil spirits. That is, the maskil attempts to frighten and terrify those who strike unexpectedly. The logic of declaring the splendor of his radiance is that by describing certain attributes of God, the evil spirits anticipate divine retribution for their activities, prompting them to cease interfering in human affairs or to act as a warning for the spirits to stay away. Such logic may also be at work in the Gospels, where Legion begs Jesus not to order them to depart into the abyss, and asks him whether he has come to torment us before the time. The fear of eschatological punishment being enacted before the designated time may therefore act as a threat to the evil spirits. As you can see, the scroll also contains a long catalog of spirits supplied by the maskil. Knowing the various names and kinds of evil spirits was thought to give the speaker ritual power over the spirits. Additionally, certain evil spirits were thought to respond differently to different ritual actions. The Gospels, for example, record an incident in which Jesus' disciples were unable to cast out a mute and deaf demon. When they asked Jesus why they were unsuccessful, he tells them this kind cannot be driven out by anything but prayer. Jesus' use of the word kind here suggests that different demons require different approaches. Presumably, a deaf and mute spirit would not react to vocalized commands in the same way as other spirits. Some of the spirits mentioned in this list by the maskil are found throughout the Hebrew Bible, while others are the product of later Jewish demonology. The bastard spirits, for example, are a reference to the popular Jewish belief that a group of rebellious spiritual beings called Watchers mated with human women who in turn gave birth to giants. In those days when the children of man had multiplied, it happened that there was born unto them handsome and beautiful daughters. And the angels, the children of heaven, saw them and desired them. And they said to one another, Come, let us choose wives for ourselves from among the daughters of man and beget children. And they began to go into them. And they taught them magical medicine, incantations, the cutting of roots, and taught them about plants. And the women became pregnant, and gave birth to great giants whose height was 300 cubits. This passage is an elaborated retelling of a peculiar myth found in Genesis 6, 1-4. According to the Jewish book of 1st Enoch, God judged the Watchers by sealing them away in a subterranean prison. Likewise, God commanded the giants to be killed. However, their death is said to have resulted in the release of evil spirits from their bodies. The songs use typical dualistic language of light and darkness to frame the battle between God and evil spirits. There is no destroyer in their regions, and evil spirits do not walk in them. For the glory of the God of knowledge shines out through his words, and none of the sons of wickedness is able to resist. God's glory is said to shine out, making it impossible for evil spirits to draw close. The idea of God's glory shining out is likely based on various descriptions from the Hebrew Bible. Deuteronomy 33:2, for example, describes God as having shone forth from Mount Paran with his angelic host. In this case, however, it is actually his words which are the catalyst for God's glory to shine. Another technique for warding off evil spirits is the use of a realized eschatology. One of the songs states that he has removed the chief of dominions. The chief of dominions appears to refer to the leader of a demonic host. Declaring God's preemptive eschatological victory over the chief of dominions may represent one of the ways in which the speaker attempts to startle the evil spirits. Throughout the songs of the sage, the singer praises God because of his predetermined actions to elect and impart knowledge to the singer. Additionally, the speaker discusses the fact that evil spirits have been placed in a predetermined historical setting. Part of the way in which the maskil frightens the evil spirits is by locating them within the rule of wickedness and the periods of humiliation, among other temporal classifications. The maskil informs the spirits that they are not undergoing eternal eschatological punishment at this time, but rather that this is for the era of humiliation of sin. In other words, the act of being able to frighten the spirits is given to the maskil because of the way that God has preordained history to unfold. The impartation of supernatural knowledge is also a key component to warding off evil spirits. According to these songs, God protects the maskil from wickedness by causing the knowledge of intelligence to shine in his heart. Likewise, the text states that the singer will praise God, "On account of your glory you have placed knowledge in my foundation of dust." Another aspect of the scroll is how obedience to God's commands are understood as part of the requirement for the hymns to be effective. The maskil says that his psalms are for the upright and all those of perfect behavior. The righteous are labeled elsewhere as those who keep the way of God and his holy path, and they are expected to walk in the law of God and serve him. Obedience is a common characteristic found in other anti-demonic texts from Qumran. The catalog of spirits offered are spirits that strike unexpectedly, and thus the songs are most likely being sung as a preventative measure against future attack. The Songs of the Sage represent one of several anti-demonic scrolls from Qumran that help shed light on Second Temple Jewish rituals, especially those of Jesus and the Apostles in the New Testament. As we continue this series, I will highlight some of the ways in which studying these texts can help us understand the New Testament accounts of exorcism and apotropaism.